Hello YouTube, so I thought I'd do a quick video. You know, my quick videos are not very quick really, they're quite long. But a little bit more about sewing machines for making tents and tarps and stuff for wild camping. I had a lot of interest from the last video where I was modifying a £20 tent. A very cheap tent from Aldi, a supermarket chain in UK and Germany I think. And that's been quite popular. So I'm going to go a little bit more into the making of things and how I do it, exactly how I do it, because sometimes I just assume everybody knows how to sew, but it's not always the case, I think. And if you're thinking about getting into maybe repairing your own gear or making simple tarps to start off with, this will be quite helpful for you, I think. Starting right from the basics. So the basic today is you're thinking about doing some sewing, getting into sewing. You've got no idea, no experience, not knowing where to go first or what to do first. So this is for you if that's where you're at. If not, if you're a little bit more advanced, you might have some other interesting things here to take you on when you've got your machine and you want to service it and maintain it, set the timing, all that kind of stuff. So that's what this is all about today. So I'm just going to show you some sewing machines, what to look for when you're buying one, what to avoid when you're buying one, and I'm going to recommend, if you're going to buy a sewing machine, either from someone you know, getting rid of one, or maybe there's one in the family, an old one in a loft somewhere that grandparents have got and maybe don't use anymore. That's always a good find. Or eBay. eBay is the best place to buy sewing machines, mainly due to the filters you can add, which I'll talk about later when you're buying them, to find exactly what you want. So I'll show you a little bit of the machines we got, or I got. So this is a collection of machines that I've got. I used to buy them and refurbish them and then sell them on, and then I eventually got a couple of machines that I really liked and I stuck with, so I don't do that anymore. But this is just a few examples of machines that you'll see on eBay time and time again, some of these are good, some of these are not, for doing camping gear and things like that. So I'm just going to explain the differences between them all. So you're going on eBay, what do? You put in just sewing machine, don't put any other words in, don't put vintage, don't put retro, don't put heavy duty, just sewing machine, because we'll work all the rest out later. And if you put down heavy duty, say because you want a heavy duty sewing machine, there'll be some heavy duty machines that don't have that in the title and you'll miss those off your search. So just put sewing machine in the search. Then on the left hand side there's a column for filters, and in the filters, but first of all, the ones you want are very heavy, so they won't be posted. So you want to look for nearby. There's a little option for nearby, and in nearby put 10 miles or 10 kilometers or whatever you're happy to travel to pick it up. All the ones that you really want are collection only, because of the weight. So put in there nearby, put your distance you're prepared to travel. Under the price, put 0 to £30 or the equivalent in dollars. Don't put anything more than that. You'll see very old second-hand ones going for £100. You don't want those, and I'll explain why in a minute. 0 to £30 is where you're looking at. Go for bid only, don't do buy it now, because these are sold from shops, been professionally refurbished and have a lot of cost already added to them. So you want to look for 0 to £30, nearby, and auction only. Then you want to filter down again, obviously for your country only, so the States or Australia or UK only, because you want it in the same country. Nearby usually works all that out for you, but just put it in just in case. And then you can start going down through the list. Now in the list there's a sort order, and you can sort on lowest price, recent bid, and all that kind of stuff. What I tended to go was for ending soonest. So if you put ending soonest in the search criteria, you'll get all the ones that are going to finish bidding pretty soon. And what happens is these go online, they go on for maybe 5 days, 6 days, and as you get to the end of the bidding process, all the important bids are within the last 5 minutes of the bid. Anything outside of that is a waste of time. If you put a bid on something 2 days beforehand, that bid probably won't win, and all you're doing is raising the price before the last 5 minutes, so you're making it more expensive for yourself. So don't bid on anything unless you're within 5 minutes of the end of the bid. Some people are using services online to shield bid, which bids in the last 10 seconds automatically, which are a real pain, but not all people. So just bid within the last 5 minutes and it's okay. Put in a maximum bid of, say, whatever you're comfortable going up to. If it's £20, put £20 in. I usually bid up to 35. If it's a really, really nice one, I'll go up to 40, but nothing more than that. If it goes to 41 and you lose it, so be it, because you'll find others at the right price. Just have to have a bit of patience. And they're cropping up all the time on eBay. You don't have to worry about not having any there. There's always some there to look at. But there is good and bad, and things to avoid, things to look out for. So now you're down to looking at the actual sewing machines, and I'll just point out a few dangers that you could end up with a bit of a lemon that's no good for you. And it's very easy to do that. So this is a bit of a heads up for people. So if you see any like this, this is a genome, but if you see any like this, avoid them. So this is all plastic construction, metal inside, metal frame, but plastic construction. This is a brand new machine, it's about a year old. This is a dressmaking machine. This is not a machine for heavy duty tarps, Cordura, leather, all that kind of stuff. You're not going to sew with that. It's going to struggle with that. It's got loads of stitches. It looks smart. It looks easy. It's clean, but no good for what we want. So if you see anything that's white in plastic, don't go for that. Okay. So we'll put that one to one side. That's my wife's machine. She's a dressmaker, so she uses that a lot. Okay, so the next thing you'll see is these. Now, these are very old machines. This is one I bought for £5, so pretty cheap. And I'm going to refurbish this one. This one's not been refurbished yet. This is just how we received it. So it came with some feet. Oh, that's quite a good foot. I might use that. Some feet, bobbins, things like that. Now, it looks quite a nice machine. The problem with this is it's hand crank, so you have to use one hand to operate it. There's no motor on it, which can be a bit of a pain, especially on things like sil nylon and slippery fabric, because it's slipping around and you want to hold it when you're sewing, so you don't really want one that's a hand crank. Again, this was only £5, so you can argue that you're getting a lot for your money. It's a very good machine if you want to do straight stitch. Now the problem is, look at these. These are two cover plates for your bobbin, and this is called a shuttle bobbin. You see it? It'll go backwards and forwards like a shuttle. You want to avoid that because this is round bobbin or vertical or horizontal mounted bobbins. And these can cause issues with the stitch formation. You can get a bit of a problem with this type of stitches you get. So avoid one where you've got those two plates. If you see that on a picture, avoid it. It's no good for you. Another problem with this machine for doing tarps and things, sometimes you want to do a zigzag stitch, and this will only do a straight stitch. And you can tell that because obviously there's a foot with just one hole, not a wide hole, and underneath on the plate there's a tiny little hole there, and it's not an oblong slot, so it's only going to do a straight stitch. There's no adjustments for anything else, so again, not ideal. The other thing is it's got stitch length, which is this dial here, so the length of the stitch can be adjusted, which is very useful and you need that all the time, but there's no reverse, you can only go forwards. So if you want to start and stop on every line of stitch to lock the threads, you need to go backwards and forwards, and on this one you'd have to sew through, so keep sewing, keep sewing, keep sewing, and then turn the whole lot around and sew backwards, turn the whole lot around again and sew forwards. It's a real pain in the neck, so really no good. Singer, good manufacturer, good solid machine. It's got a serial number, and you can look that up online and find out exactly where it's made, what year it was made, and all the details behind it. So quite a nice machine. I'll renovate it and refurbish it, and it'll be lovely again. But not for this kind of work. So that kind of machine, avoid that kind of machine. Now you'll see a load of these. This is a Singer 99K. Now there's different ones. There's 99K, 56K, 46K, 201K, 200K. All of these kind of machines are very well known. They will last forever. They're very solidly built. They'll stitch through anything, 3 layers of concrete or whatever you want to stitch, it'll stitch through. So, for example, you get some leather like this. This is maybe 3mm leather, sort of second layer of leather. You could get through easily 5 layers of this, like that. You can stitch through that with a leather needle. It will go straight through that, no problem at all. So whatever you want to do, if you're doing very heavy duty backpacks for like bushcraft and things like that, that would work quite well. Now there's a few problems why I would suggest not getting any of these type of machines. Now some people are very happy with these, they've got them, they use them for all their wild camping stuff, is fine. But for me personally, there's better options, but I'll explain why. Good things about this machine is it has, let me just get down. It has very sturdily built. They will last forever. This one obviously has a motor on the back, just there. So it's electric. It's got a light, which is very useful. You need a light or several lights, so you like to use several lights. It's got a bobbin winder, so you can wind your bobbins on, which is in good nick. Let's just take this out. It's very, very quiet when it's going, very smooth. It's precision engineering. This has all been refurbished. I've refurbished this one, so it's running just like it did when it was brand new. It's had. I'm going to do another video on refurbishing these old machines, because there's quite a lot to it, and I've done a lot of research, and now I've got to the point where everything you can strip down, including the motor, and refurbish it back to new, and all the parts are available online, so I'll do another video on that. But this one's been refurbished, very smooth, runs lovely. Okay, it's raining outside now, so if you hear on the audio, if you can hear water running, it's the water coming down. It goes on the roof of the conservatory and then off again, so it's just the heavy rain at the moment. So back to this. Yeah, drop-in bobbin, very nice. Produces a almost perfect stitch. The stitch formation engineering is perfect on these. Easy to repair, easy to maintain, easy to look after. Problem is, for producing kit for when you're camping and things, there's a couple of things that are not ideal. You can use it, but it's not ideal. First of all, it's a straight stitch only, no zigzag stitch. So if you want to do any stitching that has a bit of give in it, for when you're stretching on the seam of a tarp, this is a problem because you need a zigzag stitch to give it the stretch. So that's a bit of an issue. The other thing is, again, you can do the length of the stitch here, but you can't adjust the anything else. So you can't go backwards and forwards, you can't do zigzag, and you can't adjust any other tensions, etc. So again, not ideal. You really need something that's going to go backwards and forwards and have those adjustments. Also, feed dogs, these are permanently up. It's nice to adjust the pressure of these, the little teeth underneath, for different types of fabric. If it's up all the time, like this one, you can't change it. Then on sil nylon fabrics, which these machines are made without that kind of fabric being invented, the teeth will dig into the coating on the fabric and damage it. So you've got to be able to adjust the tension on those feet. So, beautiful machine. You can pay up to £100 for these easy, although I picked this one up for £25 and refurbished it. So that's That's those kind of machines. Now they come with these foot pedal. Normally the cables are not very good on them, so you can just replace those, bit of heat shrink, brand new cables, etc. Very easy to do. So I'll show you how to do that in another video. When you buy them, any of these machines, always look for in the description. Never go for one that says I found it in the loft. Haven't used it, but looks very good, up for sale. What they're really saying is it doesn't work, but I'm not going to take responsibility for saying it doesn't work. That's what they're really saying. So avoid anything like that. If somebody says it's in good working order, that's something to look out for. Or if you just say it works, or I've used it recently, or something like that, that's also very good. So try and look for those words in the description. What you're looking for is somebody who doesn't really know what they've got. They're just trying to get rid of it, to make some money and to take it out of the house, and that's the kind of things you're looking for. If it's somebody who really knows what they've got, then you're going to go for a high price, and you want to avoid that really. Right, 2 more machines to go. This one's my favourite one. This is a brother. This is exactly the type of machine you need for doing wild camping, and also this one, the Novum. Probably in its time the best quality machine you could buy on the market. This was a Japanese version, all of the same style, which I'll go through in a minute. A little bit later in age than the Singers of this type, but much more capable and much more interesting. So what you're looking out for, especially if you've just not got much of a description looking at the pictures, you're looking at these kind of dials here. You need something up here. There'll be turning knobs like these, there'll be levers and stuff like that. That is what you're looking for. Obviously it's got a motor on the back, so it's a motor driven one. Stitch length, it's got more detail this time, so you can do precisely each time the length of your stitch and know where you're going. This is very important because some tie outs and things in wild camping need specific stitch lengths for the strength, not to weaken the material. Down here you'll have some sort of adjustment. It could be a dial, it could be buttons that you press, something like that. And you can see here it's got different settings for different fabrics. So what that's doing is raising and lowering the feed dogs. So if you put it on darn, that's completely flat. You won't see them at all. Silk is only slightly up, and then normal is up higher. And that gives you the ability to not mark the fabric, especially the super light fabrics, which are like silk, to use. Again, this one's been refurbished. I bought this one for £30, I think. So in here, again, it's a drop-in bobbin in a case this time, which is a lot easier to use. So there's your bobbin there. This is an extra strong thread. So I've got a separate bobbin case for that, and that just goes in there. And I'll show you how to take all this apart in another video. What you won't see it in the pictures very often, but what happens is on these, you can go underneath them and see they're all metal construction. There's no plastic parts. Sometimes you'll see a belt going round. Avoid that because they go and they're a nightmare to get hold of. So you want all metal parts underneath. Ask questions if you can to the seller and see if it's all metal. And normally you have your serial number here that you can look up. So that's what you're looking for underneath. And in the end, you can see it's all metal construction. There's no plastic anywhere. On top, you'll have very precise controls for the foot pressure. This affects the pressure of the foot. So on very thick fabric, you can wind the pressure up and it'll pull it through a lot easier, which is very good for heavyweight bushcrafting bags, things like that, or leather. This will also do leather. Here, this is a zigzag machine. So although it's still got a single hole in the foot plate, and a single thing there, you can put on you can put on a different foot that's got a long slot and a different plate long slot, which I've got. And here you can adjust the the width of the zigzag. You can see the needle slightly moving, and that will give you your zigzag, and you can lock it off to stop it moving. So you've got your stitch length, your stitch width, and that's all you need practically. One other thing which this has that the others don't, there's a button here, and you'll see there's a button on that one as well, and this is reverse, so you just press it in and the machine's in reverse, let go and it's in forward. So when you're locking off the edge of a stitch run, you just go forward, reverse 4 stitches, back 4 stitches, reverse 4 stitches, back 4 stitches, and you're done. So it's a very easy way to sew, and I like it a lot. It's a lot easier than twisting the whole thing, right? Especially if you've got a massive 3 metre long tent, you don't want to be switching that around. You just want to go backwards or forwards. Some other things you'll see sometimes in the top, there'll be a little window. There's one on that one different. You press it, and in there you get little cams. They're little plastic circles with shapes on the side. You put that in, and this pushes against here, and as it turns, it flicks this in and out, so you can get decorative stitching. That's kind of not that useful, you don't need it, but you can do bar tacks with it easy and stuff like that, so sometimes useful. Again, very smooth, very quiet, very strong, sew through everything that you want. This is the kind of thing you're looking for. So I'll just show you the Novum. That's the brother. Novum, again, probably the best quality built machine in its time, and you'll notice inside they are extremely similar. Underneath, so extremely similar design, slightly different, but very, very similar. And this uses some very similar parts. This was built in Japan as well, I just noticed. Maybe even in the same factory as the brother, but it's got slightly different things. So it's got the stitch width here, which is this one. You adjust that and you can lock it off and change it. If you want to do a quick wide one and narrow it to wide, you can manually do that, so that's quite nice on that one. This is quite useful. You can, the needle position, middle, right or left, so you can do left, middle or right, and that's useful if you want to do buttonholes, reinforcing holes you made in fabric, things like that. So that is quite useful. I don't have it on the brother and I haven't needed it, but I will be using it on this one. This is my backup machine to my brother if the brother fails. Again, stitch length, very precise again, and you've got your reverse. You can see it actually moving the feed dogs. Feed dog adjustment, you can wind your bobbin on here, etc. So very similar to the brother, and you'll see lots of these. Singer do them as well. You can find Singer ones that are like this. Just when you're looking on eBay pictures, look for a few dials up here, look for the button here, so you know you've got your reverse, etc., and do a bit of research online. Sometimes on the Singers you'll see a lever here, and it'll have like 1, 2, 3, 4, which is a stitch length. Then right at the top it'll have an R for reverse. So sometimes you get some of these with a reverse on, but not often. You're better off looking for the button press to get your reverse. And that's the kind of machines you're after. And this will do absolutely everything. This will do, you can do tarps with it, you can do full tent constructions, outsides and inners. You can do backpacks, super lightweight backpacks and super heavy backpacks, rugged backpacks. You can do bike luggage, panniers, all that kind of stuff. You can do leather, if you want to do leather pouches for anything or stuff like that. It'll sew straight through that. So all of that stuff is perfect, really. So that's what you're after. Avoid the white ones. The black ones, you can use them, but I would avoid them unless it's very cheap. It's very easy to get those because they've been in industry and used heavily and then sold on as job lots. So it's very easy to get ones that are worn out and you have to replace a lot of parts before you get a working machine. These were designed and meant for the home use, so they tend to be not so heavily used, in better condition when you get them, and normally working fine when you get them. things you need to look out for. I'll put a link online to a spare parts website where I get all my spare parts for these. It's got spare parts for everything to do with sewing machines. Normally you need a new belt. I put nylon belts on mine because I like them, they're quiet, they last longer, but a rubber belt is fine. Yeah, I go over here. So a rubber belt like this one is fine, no problem at all, but nylon belts are a bit better quality. So they're normally worn out when you get them, they're all slack, so you need to buy a new belt, and they're about £7 I would say. You can use what you got when you get it, but think about replacing it because it just goes so much better, you get a lot more grip and precision. So get a new belt for about £7. Normally the light is okay, but you can get a lamp for a few pounds that just screw in there. You have to get the same one from the machine. They're short, stubby ones like you get in ovens, those type, I think. Normally the tension's fine. You might have to adjust it a little bit, but that's about it. And the rest will be fine. What you do need to do is oil it, give it a good oiling and cleaning. A typical one, if it's been used a lot and somebody doesn't know what they're doing, under here you get loads of fluff built up from what you're sewing, cloth. That builds up to such a point where it pushes and stops these feed dogs coming up and pushing the fabric through, and people may think that it's actually broken, and all you got to do is clean the fluff out and then it works fine. So you oil in here. I'll just do a quick one on maintenance, but I'll do a more in-depth one. You'll see on all the joints, don't know if you can see, in there there's a little hole in there. That's a grease nipple, so there's one down there too. You put one tiny drop of oil, gets good quality sewing machine oil. Don't use like 3-in-1 or general purpose oil. You need sewing machine oil because it's a very specific gravity weight, if you like, of the oil, which is made specifically for the machines to keep them going a long time. So you anything that moves, goes round, is on a bearing, on a joint, just put one drop of oil in each of those and give it a few goes and it'll soon do. Don't do too much because the oil will drip down and go on your fabric and stuff. A little bit on here, this is where all the timing's done, which I'll explain on another video. And then you take these 2 screws out, take it off, and inside you'll see all the points to oil. I'll just get a screwdriver so you can see inside, because it's good to know where to oil. Okay, so got the top off now. You can have a look inside. So here, little oil nipple. On these bearings here, put a drop of oil. Inside these joints down here, put a drop of oil. On this bit here, which is your stitch length, I think. Yeah, stitch length. Put a little drop of oil there. There's usually some sort of worm thread down there, put a drop down there. And sometimes you'll look and you can see straight down through the screw holes which actually lead onto a bit that needs oiling. There's one there, for example, into the main bearing, one there for the main bearing at the top. So yeah, just oil all of that, and it'll be just like new. It will go on forever if you keep that well oiled. Sometimes you can oil down here, which is the reverse. This reverses the direction, so it's good to oil that, keep it free. That's mainly the maintenance. How often do you do it? After every big build, I give it a good oil and clean out. So after a complete tarp or a complete tent or something like that. But you don't have to do it every time you use it. No, it's once a month or every big build. In here, I won't do it now, but you can take all this apart, the motor. I'll show that on another video, and you can replace the carbon the pins, the carbon pins for transferring the electricity down to the motor. They're sprung loaded, so be a bit careful with those, and these can get brittle, so I'll go into that later. You clean all that out in there, and that makes it go a lot better if you're struggling. Sometimes you put your foot down, it's stuck, and you've got to wind it on a bit. You can refurbish the motor and it'll take it back to new again. Yeah, don't really worry about what feet comes with it, or bobbins or thread or anything like that, because that's all you're going to replace all that anyway. It's probably not going to be any good for what you want. You don't need many feet to do what you want. You want a zigzag foot, you want a straight stitch foot, and you need a zipper foot. All the rest you can get away with. So go for those 3 and you'll be good to go, really. And that's about it. So there you go, that's the ones to look out for. Don't pay more than £30. Go on eBay, do all your searches, and hopefully you'll find a bargain. This one here, for example, very expensive new, in 1950s, but I picked it up for £15, I think, something like that. So no more than 20, less than 20, which is an absolute bargain, and that'll last me a lifetime and many lifetimes beyond me. So yeah, these are great machines. So yeah, have a look around if you're interested in it. The first thing to do is get yourself a good machine. Don't buy lots of these black ones because they're not going to help you. Get something that's a bit more capable and it'll last you for a long time. And then I'll show you how to service them in another video, and then I'll show you how to do some of the basic stuff with it starting off, so you can get into it without any other support, really. There's not really a great skill to it, it's just practice. Anybody can do it well if you do it enough, and there's no sort of talent you need, it's just learning and being a bit patient. So I'll go into all the other stuff later. Thanks for watching that. Hopefully it gives you a bit more confidence to go out and buy one if you're thinking about it, and so you end up with a good one and not a dud. And hopefully you'll pick something up that's quite interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you again. Bye.